All right, guys, we're back. Another live cast show, fresh from Lake Eufaula, Alabama, for number 4 of the MLF Big 5 Pro Circuit. Pretty exciting event. Made a new friend there, and we crowned a new champion. Jason Abram, super nice guy. That the story is pretty unique in how he caught the fish. One bait. And I don't know that happens very often nowadays. So yeah, it's a pretty cool deal. We're ready to get this thing started. We leave again on Thursday for the Harris chain for the Pro Circuit event. It's going to be a busy next couple weeks, but we try to get these live cast shows in as we can. Right now, excited to bring him back, our buddy.
I must have done pretty good.
What's happening? Dang right you did. Took all the pressure off of me, Hammer.
Oh, come on.
I got the easy part.
Hey, you got the memo to wear the red shirt. All right, all right.
That's right. Hang on. I got messing with my audio here and cause myself problems. All right. Jason Abram. A lot of people, probably don't know who he is. East Tennessee guy. Second victory on the Pro Circuit. This was FLW or Pro Tour before, or FLW Tour before. Second win though.
We're just called the Tampa
nice
Warehouse Pro Circuit now.
Yeah, exactly. A nice guy. I enjoyed talking to him after he won. He was excited. We always love to see a winner's excitement. So I figured we'd have him on. Talk about how he did it. It's a unique story, I feel like, in today's times, and maybe talk about what else we want to talk about. So, with no further ado, here he is, the man, the champ, Jason. What's happening, buddy?
Hey, man, how are you? Hey, can you turn the mic up just a little bit? You got really quiet on me.
Right. There really ain't a lot of adjustment on my end. Maybe try to turn it up on your end. I got a little delay with him.
Yeah, you've locked up a couple times, but we'll get through all this.
All right. Well, we'll go with it. If I say excuse me, it's low volume, so sorry about this.
That's all right, not a problem.
I'm from the north, so you might not understand the northern language. So I understand.
Gotcha.
Lurch, I'm going to go ahead and jump off here and let you two guys go at it. And I know I want to hear about this swim jig thing and how it all went down. So I will be taking care of these questions and stuff. We'll get some more here in a minute.
All righty.
First and foremost, congratulations, buddy.
Hey, dude, I appreciate it.
It's been a while. You had a win back in 2020 on I got to pull it up. I can't remember right off the top of my head. It was Lake Martin, right?
Dude, golly, I can't hear you guys.
Your last win, Lake Martin?
Yes, sir. Lake Martin. It sure was.
All right. Let's get right into Eufaula. I read an article, and it said that you didn't catch them the way that you thought they'd be caught, but boy, it worked out.
Yeah, when I went up the river on day 2 of practice, I could see, we had current on days 1 and 2. We had good current, good flow, and they was forming eddies. In East Tennessee, rocks, bluff walls form eddies, and it was just a pattern I've seen. I've seen the same pattern numerous times on Watts Bar, which I fished a lot growing up. And the day 2 of practice, I think the first fish I caught. Well, I was practicing, had a practice jig on, white practice jig, hook bent down, and first tree I flipped into on the morning of day 2, literally the very first tree I pulled up to, a good one pulled on, pulled down on. I was like, all right, that's great. Went to the next tree. Same deal, another good one pulled down. I was like, well, I'm going to check one. Got the other rod up off the deck that, wasn't bent down. I set the hook on the next bite. It was between 6 and 7 pounds. So in the first 15 to 20 minutes, I'm thinking, okay, I've got 13 pounds probably already that I know that was bit right, and I'll run 2 or 3 more trees with the practice rig and had bites on all of them, and 2 of them I seen swim out. They're both over, 4.5, 5.5 pound class. So I'm thinking, all right, this could go down.
It might
here.
be on. It might be
Yeah,
on.
so I knew I was on a rock solid pattern.
Now, when you talk about the pattern, it sounded like you were sort of perplexed that pattern was even holding up. You thought it might go deep. Is that correct?
Yeah, you everything you read about Eufaula is deep brush piles, deep ledges. I idled down there. I went down there in pre-practice and idled around a lot and looked at all that deep brush. And I was like, it's everywhere on that lower end of that lake. It's just covered. They did a good job. All the locals there did a really good job. There's a lot of natural brush in the water still, but you could also see a lot of nice, new, fresh trees that have been put out. They had to be put out sometime in the last month or two. Everything about that said deep. And the only problem is on day one of practice, when you put your boat in the water temperature is only 72 degrees. So I fished on the lower end day one of practice. I fished a lot of docks, looked around a lot. I idled a few, but I didn't see no big schools out there. So, I don't know. It was probably 6:30 in the evening, and I flipped a white jig in a bush on the lower end of the lake and had one about 4.5 or 5.
Right.
And I run around and looked, and there wasn't a whole lot of that down there. And then, so I made my mind up the next day I was going to go to the river where I was comfortable and look around. And, I stumbled on it. It looked great, and it just fit.
Now, when you say you're comfortable, is that coming from your roots and how you grew up fishing?
Say that one more time.
I said, when you said, you were going to, flip the eddies, is that going back to your roots, going up the river and fishing that?
Yeah,
style?
exactly. Here, there's a lot of rivers around my house that I fish and stuff, and I can read river water pretty good. It's shallow. It's fast paced. You can cover a lot more water when you're fishing shallow, and especially with current fish. They're pretty much, if they're up, staged up in the current scenes and stuff where they're supposed to be, they're only there for one reason. They don't move up in them current scenes just to stay.
Right.
They move up in current scenes to eat, and so them fish are really active. It don't take a lot to coerce them into biting. If you can figure out the right, usually you have to match the right jig fall is more. You don't want something too light that gets washed away, and you don't want something that's too heavy that just blows through the water column. So you got to sort of match. The biggest thing is in current is match the fall of the jig ratio that you're looking for.
Now you talked about. I think I read that you had a buddy that was a custom-made jig from a friend of yours. Am I correct on that?
On the 5/8 jig, yeah, a buddy of mine makes a local jig here.
What made it different?
Say that again.
What made it different?
His jig has a flat on the top of it. It's got a really flat surface to it, and it skips really good, and especially around the shad spawn. Most of my casts, I like that jig to skip 2 or 3 times before it gets. If I'm not flipping into the cover, if I'm flipping on the outsides of it, I want it to skip, sort of like the shad spawn or shad are up there popping, and that gets just a little bit of attention, and then it's falling. So, it looks natural. It falls natural. It looks like one's dying, and it's easy for them to eat.
Gotcha. Now, how often could you replicate this pattern? Was it every 100 yards, or were you making big runs?
I think the question, how often could I find it? Basically, the problem is Lake Eufaula. If you look at it, they ain't but a couple river bends. The lake was falling really bad on us. It was 6 inches to 8 inches a day. So my game plan was to look for brush just in the river bend where the deepest water should be. And I tried to find the tree on each river bend that was the deepest tree or the deepest structure on that river bend. So, the big females had somewhere to go to. That way the deep water was really, really close, and they could just move up and feed and go back down. So that is the only thing. I only fish the deepest trees in river bends, and that's it. That's what I concentrated on. In about an 18 to 22, 24 mile section of river, I'd run, it was roughly 18 to 20 stops in an 18 to 20 mile section. So it wasn't a lot of it.
Right. The how long were your runs, and how quick did the spots replenish, or did they?
Each spot was, some of them were, you could run like the left-hand side of the river bend and maybe like the backhand side and the front-hand side, and then we're really close. But the next bend may be 3 to 5 miles up the river. Some of the really, as soon as you come out of that Cowicky Creek, like the second river bend, there's 2 or 3 river bends right there pretty close. And then there's a good flat straightaway that's probably 8 or 9 miles before you hit another bend. So round trip every day to go up and fish all 8. And what I did is I fished all 18 spots going up, all 18 spots coming back down. And that pretty much took me about 2 hours to do each day.
Gotcha.
So I could get, my game plan was to get 3 fish before 10 o'clock and hopefully get 1 fish on each pass out of the next 4 trips. So it wasn't a numbers game by no means. It was just a right bite.
Right. Now, after the days of practice, mentally, where did you feel that you might end up? I mean, did you think you were going to be in the top 5? You sat in second after the first day.
After day 2 of practice, after about 3 hours of day 2, I knew I was on a pattern good enough to actually win this one.
Wow.
That's good. Every fish that bit within the first 3 hours on day 2 for me in practice was 4 pounds or better. And, I seen 3 or 4 of them. So I knew the quality of fish that was, I didn't know for a fact, but, I knew I could have 16 to 20 pounds almost pretty quick. I really thought 16 to 20 pounds was doable in the first hour about every day.
How much did your pattern resonate on the other anglers? Were more guys out deep? Was it busy doing what you were doing?
Say that one more time.
The pattern that you found, were there a lot of anglers doing that, or did more guys go to the deep bite?
They was, the best of my guess, they was about 110 to 115 boats that went down the lake and fished deep. They was probably 30 that stayed from Cowicky to the bridges going south. Best I can tell on day 1, the only boats that I've seen regularly, I've seen myself, Bobby Lane, David Walker,
and those guys.
So the top 5 guys coming in on day 1, that's who I seen. So I knew the bite that was the right place to be. Now on day 2, on day 1, that was really the only boats that I really seen. There was 1 or 2 other stragglers that I just didn't recognize, and that's my fault. But on day 2, we had a local tournament, 2 local tournaments going out there, and so there was quite a few more pressure up there on day 2. And also, on day 1, the guys that didn't do so good on the deep bite, a lot of them migrated up the river.
Right. Mm-hmm.
So, it really hurt me because I was making that milk run and, jumping 2 or 3 spots, but I would have to miss 2 or 3 or 4 spots. So I was, instead of running 5 minutes to the next tree, it was 15 or 20 minutes to the next tree. And so I didn't get to fish a lot that I wanted to on day 2. And also, I lost 2 on day 2 that, I lost a 6 and a 5 on day 2 that the 5 I had to the boat, the 6 I never even budged out. I mean, I got her up to the top of the tree and that was it. But the 5 I had to the boat twice.
Day number 2, was it just that pressure that made you get I think it was 13 pounds or 3?
Yeah, miscues on my part. I did lose 2 that would have put me there. But then again, I probably didn't get to fish maybe 50% of the stuff I wanted. And it wasn't so much as the guys were fishing the banks that I wanted to be on. They wasn't keying in on that one tree on that bank. I would literally pull up and just fish one tree. And, it was a good living, it's a river bend. A lot of fish live there, but I was keying on only where I thought the big ones would be at.
When you talk about that, Bobby Lane had great days. David Walker came up and ended up finishing second. On the final day, who do you think you were going to have the most pressure from? Was it going to be David Walker?
No, I did not. If you looked at the weights going through, Fitzgerald's weights got, 15, 17, 20. His weights were getting better. Our water had dropped 24 inches, 22 to 24 inches from that. Yeah, it was a lot. And on day 4, the first stop I pull up, I'm like, oh man, I thought I was in trouble. I really do. And everything tells you if the water's dropping 20 some inches, fish are moving out. They're going to go deep, and you could see his pattern coming on. The person I was most worried about was definitely Fitzgerald. I really thought he would be the man.
Oh, that was me. My phone buzzed.
No, that was me.
Oh, maybe we both buzzed. Talk about that final day. You get the check in your hand. Ricky, you there, bud?
Hey, Jason.
Yeah.
Is your phone on speaker?
No, it ain't, but I can try that.
Is your speaker turned? That'll fix it.
Let me see if
Try
I can figure out how to do that. I don't want to lose you guys, though. I might have lost you.
No, we still hear you.
Do it. Just dial right back in. He gone. I think we need to get him to get a headphones. Yeah, he'll be back. I think we're working through some technical stuff with this, but it is what it is. It's live. That's the beauty of it. I mean, we had some struggles, but we'll get it figured out.
Yeah,
hopefully he jumps
got
back.
Some storms rolling through, so every now and then you get a little poppy, but that's all right. That's all right.
Yeah, it's it's crazy. I know that John Wales guy wanted to know the company that makes the jig, and I know I heard you say it. Do you remember off the top of your head?
I do not. I'm sorry, I don't. Yeah, I read
we'll ask him that
an article about that.
All right, here. Let's see if he's got any better now.
Yeah, dude, it's great now. Yeah, better.
Well,
great.
Welcome back.
Yeah, great. Yeah, perfect.
We're gonna call that a commercial break.
All right, perfect. Great. Yeah.
So what I was
so,
saying, Ricky, you sticking around? Are you gonna hang out? Or are you gonna disappear again?
No, I'm gonna get back off here. Like I said, I got a face made for radio, so I'll just keep managing some of these questions, and we'll get some more built up here, and let's go ahead and see if we can get that Joe Wales on the company that makes the jig real quick, and then we'll just move on, and I'll jump back in when I need to.
He wants more info on the jig. I think he's gonna be Amazon shopping here in a moment.
Dude, the guy that makes is a guy in East Tennessee called Craig France, and I should have brought one up with me. I didn't bring one up, but basically the bottom of it, most jigs are rounded, and it's got like a V nose to it a little bit, but then the very bottom of it is really flat. So when you skip it, it don't dig into the water, and it's got a really good glide to it. It's got a wide head. A lot of them, most heads are around, or pretty much are bullet shaped. This one's more like an arrowhead. Is the easiest way that I can explain it to it without the picture. It's got an arrowhead shape to it. It's got a good flat. It skips really good. It flutters really good in the current. It's just a really, really good flipping jig.
Final day weigh-in before you're crowned champion. Nervous in the line waiting?
Well, no, I wasn't nervous on this one, but I had an upper hand. Now, with that said, FLW or MLF Live, everybody knows what everybody has except the last 30 minutes. And, I'm so thankful that my wife and kids got to come to this one. Last year when I won at Martin, it was right at the beginning of the pandemic. And, we talked about it. She really wanted to come. We thought it'd be best for her and the kids to stay home.
Right.
I would have loved for them to be in there, but they didn't get to come to that one. On day 3, my wife called me. She said, "You're in second place. You're going to win." I said, "Honey, don't, the water's falling. Everything about this, they're turning the current off tomorrow. Everything about this says I'm not going to win this one." She was very confident. She was way more confident than I was in it.
Well, that's why you lean on each other. That's
correct. She was a driving force. She was positive the whole time. You know, everything that we know about bass fishing says I was in trouble.
Right.
And but coming in, you know, when I come in, I tied up to the dock. You know, my first words were, "Did he catch them?" She's like, "He's only got 4." Exactly right. Then that was the first thing that went through my mind. Oh, yeah. But I was like, what size are those 4? Yeah, what size are those 4 though? You know, them deep fish scared me. They did, because I know you go back there 3 weeks, deep bite's going to win, guaranteed.
Yeah.
Then the next question was, how big is the 4? She's like, the 3 that I seen him catch, they wasn't that big. I was like not big, like 2-pounders. She's like, 1.5. She's like, he had to catch a 9 or 10 to really have it. So that right there, I was really confident. And walking up the ramp, David Walker was in front of me. I asked David, I said, "David, you got them?" And David looked at me, he grinned, he said, "I got 5 swimmers, I got 5 keepers." And I was like, oh man, you know, and it's starting to sink in, I got this. And then I watched David go up on stage, and David pulls out a pretty good bag, and I'm like, that best yeah, that's sandbagger right there. That was more than just 5 swimmers or 5 keepers. So, but when I started adding the numbers in my head, you know, I knew I had 12. I thought I might have 13. I did not think I had 14. Honestly, I did not think I had 14, but I was still in my head. I'm like, okay, I still got David too, by at least 2, maybe 3 pounds. So I was pretty, walking up the ramp, I was really, really comfortable thinking that I might have pulled this one off.
You know, you've had one other big victory, and that was Lake Martin, correct?
Yes, sir.
What goes through your mind? What are you feeling, especially now that you can sort of, you know, your wife was able to tell you that, you know, I saw him catch this, and you think what goes through your mind? Is it a sense of relief? Is it still the anxiety as if you don't know?
Even though you think you know, there's still an anxiety level there. You think until it's over, it's never over. You know, you live and die by that growing up. It's never over until it's over. You know, I've heard that saying my whole life. And I was confident that I was going to win. But until they're on
confidence can kill the kitty cat.
Yeah, until I seen that 14 something. When Chris, you know, when I brought them 2 out and I laid them, and when, you know, I put 3 in the bag, and he's like, "You need," I think it was 6 pounds or something to win. I'm like, at that moment right there, right before I pulled them last 2 fish out, when he said you need, I think it was 6 or 7 pounds, whatever Chris said, I knew right then I had just won.
You know, you had mentioned the COVID on your last win. The pandemic had just started. How did it change anything on how much you fish, how you go after it? I know it changed the tournaments around a little bit. You know, it just got a little bit different. But once that hit, were you able to more focus on just fishing with everything else shutting down?
Yeah, because, you know, I do work at a family business. You know, we're mechanical contractors and electrical contractors. So our work, like half the country, our work turned to really slow. Right. So I got to fish a lot more. I got to be with my family a lot more. It was a blessing. I mean, that there is no way to say it other than winning that Lake Martin tournament was a true blessing for me and my family. We was not stressed with financials.
Right.
You know, that right there, me being, you know, running family business and stuff, you got a big payday sitting in the bank. So, you know, the whole pandemic, as bad as it was,
I think for a lot of people that were go, I think it was sort of a blessing in disguise in a sense.
It absolutely was. For me, I got to spend so much more time with my family that, you know, I don't get to do a lot. You know, we're on the road a lot. I work a lot. I got to spend a lot. I fish with my son more than I probably have in years.
Right.
And I got to be with my daughter more. I got to be with my wife more. So winning that tournament for me was probably the greatest thing that I've probably accomplished, because you let me spend a lot of times that could have been stressful. There wasn't a lot of stress for us. Right. You know, it was just great. It was absolutely fantastic for us.
You know, we both have 14-year-old daughters, and I hope you know that pretty soon they're not going to want to hang out with us.
Exactly. And, you know, me and my wife say that every night, you know, when our kids still crawl up into bed with us, you know, and we do end up walking them or put them to bed or whatever, you know, how many more nights do they want to come sit in the bed, watch TV with us? Dude, you know, you better cherish them. If you look back, you know, I look back at photos today. I was looking back at my log on, I was just looking back at my own profile on Major League Fishing. And there was a Coastal Championship a few years ago on Kentucky Lake that I ended up finishing 8th or 9th on. I don't remember exactly where I finished, but it was in the top 10 for sure. And I got both of my kids up on stage with me there. And I look at that picture and look at it now, fast forward to now. I really can't tell you where all that time went. It's just flew by, and oh man, it's tough. It's
well,
tough.
Daniel Abram wants to know when we are going fishing.
Say that one more time. A call try to come to you.
Daniel Abram says, "When are we going fishing?"
Dude, you know, as soon as my schedule slows down, anybody wants to fish with me is absolutely welcome my boat. I'll take anybody fishing. You know, if somebody's willing, if they think I can teach them something, I'm more than willing to try to help anybody. I think that's what makes this sport great. Everybody in this industry, we're pretty much we love the same. We have the same passion. It
Absolutely.
it creates a common bond. People that you've never met in your life, you know, how many co-anglers have climbed to my boat that I now talk to on a weekly basis. Mm-hmm. And we had nothing more than one day in a boat together, 8 hours, and now we're friends and been friends for years. So fishing to me is a bond that is just, I don't know of anything else like it.
You know, let's talk about the 2021 season. You had finished 74th at stop number 1, and then it was 157th, 130th. What happened in those middle 2 stops this year that you had the rough finishes? I mean, were you not
I got off basically, you know, when you went to Lake Murray and we went to Smith Lake there, you know, fish were deep. Well, you know, the majority of fish was. John Cox ended up winning at shallow, you know.
Yep.
I got sidetracked in chasing deep fish. And, you know, that is a part of my game that I work on all summer long. I'm trying to become a better deep water angler. I'm not there yet. You know, that is a part of the game that I'm working on. I try to work on that hard all summer long. You know, I try to put my time in. I'm getting better at it. I thought I could compete out deep on them 2 tournaments. I was wrong.
Right. So you went back to the roots, and it played well here.
Yeah, you know, I just I'm more comfortable in, you know, 10 foot of water or less. I'm just more comfortable where I understand it better. That you know, even though Douglas Lake has changed, you know, when I was growing up, Douglas Lake, you didn't fish off the bank. But over the last 6 or 8, 10 years, Douglas has really started cleaning up. Water's getting cleaner. You can start seeing deeper. Fish are moving offshore more. I just wasn't, you know, I missed that learning curve when I was growing up fishing around here of how to catch deep fish, and I'm trying to catch up now. That's just the honest truth.
Is it more technique or electronics that you personally think you need to work with or work on?
You know, y'all went silent again on me. Say that one more time.
Oh, I said, what do you think it is? More the electronics, the way they've advanced, or do you just think it's more technique that you need to work on?
I think it's a little of both. You know, probably a little bit more electronics work, honestly. You know, I've got a lot better. I understand a lot. From last year to this year, I understand a lot better. It's just there's no substitution for time on water. I mean, it's plain and simple. The more you understand, the more you look at something, the more you catch a fish off of this, the more you figure out how to trigger a fish off of, you know, deep or, you know, it's a combination of both. And there's no substitution for getting out there, using your electronics, figuring out what you're looking at, verifying what you're looking at, catching one. There is no single thing. It's just like anything else. You know, you got to put your time in. You got to learn how to do it.
It's like comparing baseball to football. It's two different sports in a sense.
Exactly right. You know, shallow water fishing, deep water fishing, you know, it's a different game. And, you know, even fishing out, you know, you fish shallow, you can throw a shaky head. You can throw a quarter-ounce jig. You can finesse fish shallow. You can finesse fish out deep. You can power fish out deep. So they both have what you need to be able to do out there. You just got to figure out how to do it.
Absolutely. Now let's talk about the upcoming stop 5, Potomac River. Your next stop. How do you feel about the Potomac?
You know, I really enjoy the Potomac River. I've been to Potomac River quite a few times. You know, it's a shallow water fishery. It's, you know, tidal water. It's a tidal water, so it's a little bit different. You know, that is, you know, I'm not saying I'm great at tidal water, but at least I know when the water starts moving, fish go to bite one way or the other. You just got to figure out which way, if it's the incoming or outgoing that they want to bite on. So I do understand water moving a little bit. You know, I do understand that part. It is shallow. I've been there quite a few times. I like the Potomac River a lot. I really do. I'm looking forward to getting up there and getting it on. I think I'm really confident I can do good up there because I've had quite a few good success up there.
You know, now it gets sort of interesting because your stop 6 on the Tackle Warehouse Pro Circuit is the St. Lawrence River, and that one you qualify to fish with Major League Fishing on that one earlier. What is that? End of June. So you're gonna have a couple tournaments on the St. Lawrence.
Yeah, you know, that's a great thing of being able to qualify for that BPT tournament up there. And I'm leaving either today or tomorrow. I'm going to go to New York and practice the St. Lawrence River. I've never seen the St. Lawrence River. So I'm going to get up there and you know, pre-practice for cutoff on next week there. And then, you know, the BPT tournament's up there. I get to go fish a tournament before the Tackle Warehouse Pro Circuit gets there. So I get time on the water up there. Winning this one, that was twofold. You know, great. I get to go fish BPT. I also get tournament experience on the St. Lawrence River. That's a win-win.
Now, if you could choose, would you rather have the Tackle Warehouse Pro Circuit event on the St. Lawrence be first, or Major League Fishing one be first? If you could choose,
for me, I would rather have the BPT, the Major League Fishing one up there. You know, that's a one-stop deal for me. You know, unless I qualify to get to the BPT one day, my focus is going to still be on the Tackle Warehouse Pro Circuit, where
absolutely,
you know I make a living at.
Makes perfect sense.
So you know, if I had to pick one, I'd rather be the BPT as a training ground. If I do great, and if I do poorly, use it, learn from it, look, see, understand what, you know, other anglers were doing up there. And then you know, to me, that experience is and that knowledge is powerful and good information for me.
Now, if I'm not mistaken, you finished 25th in the Angler of the Year last year. You did fish the championship that was Major League Fishing style, correct?
Yes, I did, and I really like that. You know, I really like the catch, weigh, and release format. Now, I'm not crazy. I'm gonna have to go plug my phone up, so I'm gonna have to go back. Is that all right?
What's that, bud?
I said my phone's. I need to plug it up. I'm sorry, but is that okay? I mean, I'm gonna walk in and plug it.
You can move around. You can walk around the house. It doesn't matter to me.
All right, yeah, dude. I was trying to, you know, I didn't want to cut you off or nothing,
we'll
but
just pretend you're on Eufaula and you're going to the next eddy. It's fine.
There you go. That's it. That's exactly right. I even charged it, but you know, my son's been playing on it, so we'll roll with it. But I got you plugged up now. But yeah, you know, for me, I really, really enjoy the catch, weigh, release format. I think that is the next step for bass fishing. I really do. I think it's going to protect our fishery. I love the score tracker. I think the score tracker, you know, every other sport that we play, you know what the other team has.
Absolutely.
Football, basketball, it doesn't matter. Golf, you know what you're up against. So I like the score tracker and the fact that it's formatted to what you've grown up playing sports and everybody understands the scoreboard. Now, I'm not a big fan yet of I like weighing every fish. I don't think every fish should count. That's just not I've not fished enough. Maybe I change my mind after this next event. But right now, I would rather, catch, weigh, release. Let's weigh them all. Show everybody that's catching them. If I'd like to know if Bobby Lane's caught 50.
Right.
But if Bobby Lane's caught, and don't, I'm just using Bobby as an
yeah.
because I just got done with him.
Bobby and I are friends. It's all good.
Yeah, if Bobby's catching 50-pound and a halfers and I catch 10 5-pounders, okay, but I still like the idea of just 5 total points or 5 fish limit. That's just, I grew up fishing that. I would just as soon stay that way.
Absolutely. It looks like we got a question coming in from John Sanko. I start to target brim eaters after shad and bass are pretty much done their thing. Any tips for targeting brim eaters?
My biggest tip for targeting brim is, a lot of prop baits work. I'm a big component of a pop-R. A stealth, definitely a stealth. And targeting them brim beds, you can't blow up on them. Usually the bass are just sitting outside of them brim beds. A little bit of stealth, good casting. You don't want to make too much noise, making a big splash or anything. But yeah, a pop-R or some kind of prop bait. I mean, that would be my go-to.
Let's talk about the confidence that you got with the Eufaula win. Is it going to change how you pose the rest of the year?
No, Lake Martin last year sort of give me the confidence that I've been looking for a couple of years. And honestly, if you look at my career, I started fishing really good a few years ago. And that career, I started fishing really good when I got hooked up with Reaction Innovations and Andre Moore and Josh Heron and them guys down there. They sort of believed in me, give me confidence. Maybe I was lacking because, I didn't have one of them major fishing sponsors that a lot of guys did. So, when I got hooked up with them, I think that confidence right there, if them guys having confidence in me, and then winning Lake Martin, my confidence level has really been through the roof. Even though I had 2 bad tournaments this year, I didn't waver. I shook them off. Even though I had them 2 bad tournaments, it did not faze me, and I think until you win one or it's for me, until I won one, I was still easily, I don't know, your confidence gets shaken really easy.
Yeah,
now,
a little
it's going to take a lot. It's going to take a lot to get my confidence level down.
I totally understand that. Now, what do you think is one of the major misconceptions people have of a professional angler?
That we have it just made. That it's all just we get to go fishing all the time. It's all fun and games. There's a lot of work that goes into being a professional angler. There's a lot of you're a full-time truck driver, you're a full-time truck driver, you're a part-time mechanic, and you're a part-time fisherman. I mean, the full-time truck driver, I'm getting ready to head to New York tomorrow, the next day, that's 17 hours up there.
Yeah.
Lake Eufaula was 7.5. When we go down to Florida, that's 12 or 14 for me. You're a full-time truck driver. You got to be, you got to have self-confidence in yourself to be able to repair stuff on the road, on the water.
Right.
For example, coming home from this tournament, I had a misfortune with my truck. I had the brakes changed before I left, and apparently they might have left one of the brakes caliper bolts loose.
Oh.
And let one of my calipers get up in my brake. I was getting off the exit, touched the brakes, caliper got rolled up in the front tires. Took me 2.5 hours to get that changed on the side of the road. So, there's all kinds of stuff people don't see on the backside. Everybody has misfortune with their job. We're no different.
Right.
There's a lot of things that you just don't see. There's a lot of time and effort put into chasing sponsors, doing responsibilities for your sponsors. there's just a lot of work that goes into it that nobody sees, and it's a lot harder and it's a lot more demanding than people think it is.
You know when you took the win at Eufaula, obviously a lot of emotions going on. Did you get to thank everybody that you wanted to on stage? And if you didn't, make sure.
No, when you first, and my wife was the first to point out that, I forgot to thank her, and without her, it's absolute guarantee I do not do what I do. Without a doubt, you don't get to do it. I mean, and she pointed out that, Power Pole. I forgot to thank Power Pole, plain and simple. Power Pole has been probably my longest running sponsor. Power Pole, them guys, there is no better company in fishing, and you won't hear any professional angler say any different. Power Pole is by far one of the best companies in the business.
Yeah.
I've had guys come up and say, yeah, I had a Power Pole that was 12 years old, and call them up, and they, that company is gold. And, there's always people you leave out when you're up there, your mind's going 100 mile an hour, my family's there. They was all, I'm always going to, yeah, you want to look at your shirt, but there's so many people that make it possible for us to do what we do. Without every one of them in some capacity, you don't get to, you may get there, but you don't get to stay there without them. I mean, it's just that simple. You can't do it without them.
And without a doubt.
Well, Lurch, we're
the principal's back.
Oh man, come on now. We're just now starting to have a good time.
Well, hey, I'll let y'all go as long as you want to go. I just, I don't want your wife mad at me and saying I'm not doing this anymore because it takes all I got to say about it is the little bit that I've just met you on Sunday, and it's genuine. I mean, this guy that we're talking to, Lurch, is genuine. He's a genuine guy. I think most people from East Tennessee are pretty good people. I'm excited for him, and hopefully we can get him a little bit more involved to be a part of Bass 365.
Well, I got to tell you, I'm happy that I get to hang out with him in New York at Stage 6.
Yeah, it's
great.
It's going to be fun.
Yeah. But dude, I appreciate, I really appreciate you guys even reaching out, letting me be on your show, be on your pod. It's great. I enjoy it. I love talking to people about fishing. If you put me around anybody that wants to talk about fishing, my wife just goes sit in the truck because she knows. She literally leaves the book, and she's a reader. She leaves the book in my truck all the time because she knows the first person I see that wants to talk about fish, it's going to happen for a while.
That's awesome, man. Like I said, I'm excited for you. I think you're a great ambassador of the sport. I do need to go ahead and as soon as y'all get done, we need to wrap this thing up so we can get Lurch put in bed for the night. We're leaving to go to Florida. When?
I leave Thursday morning.
Yeah, me too. So
I got to do my regular job tomorrow.
That's right.
Yeah, people need
That's
plumbers.
exactly right.
There you go. That's
Every
there
day.
you go. You got to make a living. You got to do it. You got to put the work in.
Oh.
Guys,
So,
I appreciate
Jason,
you. I thank you for very, 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 very much for letting me be on your show.
Well, it's been my pleasure.
Yeah, well, I mean, we'll definitely have you back on. Sometime soon. It's going to be a busy few weeks for me. We got like 3 back-to-back tournaments, and we got to stick the back classic in there somewhere. But we'll definitely have you back on. You're not that far from me, so I may slip out there with you and John Murray and David Walker, and maybe we'll do a little fishing.
Hey, dude, anytime
if
you ever need anything from me, you got my number.
Skip?
You give me a call.
What's my name? Skip? I can't go.
No, I said we get you to come on out too, man. It's
You
easy.
didn't mention my
It's
name.
easy.
It was John Murray and David Walker.
Yeah, I think you got left out, Lurch.
No,
I'm just saying. I'm pretty sure you got left out of that one.
I'll sidebar with you, Jason. I'll sidebar with you.
That's why I don't want to be on camera. Exactly. You handle it. I don't.
Ricky, did we get to all the questions that the fans wanted to ask?
Yeah, we didn't have a bunch of questions tonight. Just a lot of congratulations and thank you.
Well,
yeah,
Hey,
when
man,
you
you're
only
doing a
use
great
one bait,
job.
there's not a whole lot of questions to be
A
asked.
couple people want to go fishing.
Hey, let's go.
What did you try?
And to me, that's kind of
Ricky.
I don't think you got that, Lurch.
Oh, I said, what baits did
I'm
you
breaking
use
up.
that didn't work? Yeah, you at least for me, you've locked up and like.
Yeah, you locked
It
up.
looks like he's frozen on the screen.
Me? Oh, now it's us.
Oh yeah, of course it's us.
Finger pointer. All right, so you got a 17-hour drive. How long are you going to practice for?
Sir?
What's the plan for practice? How long are you going up, and how long before?
Hey, I'm gonna try to get out of here tomorrow evening and drive, probably 6 hours of it and get up the next morning. So tomorrow will be Wednesday. Get up there, practice Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Leave up there Sunday, late Sunday, and try to get back home on Monday.
Yeah, it makes good sense.
So it's gonna be a lot of idle work. That first, it's gonna be a twofold. I'm trying to look around for that BPT tournament. Which, I'm thinking it's going to be a pre-spawn pattern for that one. Then we're there a month later. So, they're probably going to be moving back out to that 20, 25-foot range. So I need to do some idle work
right
while I'm up there too. So it's going to be a long 3 days of practice up there for me.
Yeah, a lot of graphing, I'm sure.
Yep, a lot of looking at the machine. The BPT, I think if I was going to put money on it, I think I can do better in the BPT because I think the fish are going to be shallow.
Right.
So I think I can hold my own. I'm hoping up there against that one. That is a field that we all know stacked. But I think I can hold my own in the BPT. But the tour event sort of scares me more because I really expect them to be out a little bit deeper on that drop shot and stuff.
Gotcha. Do you remember your first fishing sponsor?
My first fishing sponsor. Yes, I do. Earl Bentz. Earl Bentz gave me a deal with Triton Boat.
Yeah.
And that was the very first sponsor deal I had whatsoever was with Earl Bentz and Triton Boat. And, if you notice, I am running Camus this year. There's no coincidence that boat is built by Earl Bentz.
Yeah.
So, Earl gave me a start when nobody would. I'm happy to be back running a boat that Earl builds.
Yeah, I want to say I met Earl at the 2004 Classic, and from that day forward, he's always treated me like family. Amazing.
I don't think Earl knows how to treat anybody but family. There again, we go back to that whole thing of fishermen. Earl's been in this business for as long as I can remember. I know, Earl's a little bit older than me, but that goes back to that whole brotherhood of fishing. I don't think he knows any other way to treat people. Honestly, I mean, it just most fishermen we're pretty compatible with each other. It's just how it is. We get along.
Off the water, we all get along, but on the water, when you're competing against
that's how it's supposed to be, though. That's exactly how it's supposed to be. If we wasn't there to win, why show up? I mean, if we ain't there to win, I don't want to play. I want to win. If I'm going to play, I want to win. Now, off the water, if me and you get an argument on the water, I'm okay with that. I'm not going to intentionally get an argument with anybody.
Right.
But we're there to win, and that's part of the sport. I mean, that's part of the sport. I like, if you're not competitive, you don't need to be doing this.
One thing, if you could pass one thing down to young anglers coming up, if you could pass one thing down to young anglers that are coming up in the business, what piece of advice do you think you would give them, be it on a personal level, fishing level, doesn't matter. What would you want to pass down to the next generation?
The one thing that I could say to any angler, and I think any angler would say about me, is be respectful, on and off the water. Fishing, we are professional bass fishermen, and we're lucky to do what we do. But we are professional bass anglers. In the end, and I don't want to sound, this may come off wrong on radio or podcast, but in the end, we're professional bass fishermen. we're not curing cancer. We're not saving the world. Them people in the end their jobs are more important than ours, in my opinion. Them people are can save somebody's lives.
Yeah.
We can make people's lives better. They can save lives. So to me, be respectful. Remember that this is a job. It is a sport. But that's what it is. It's a job. It's a sport. We're not saving lives. You look at especially in the last, 14 months is what went on across this country. You've seen what our first responders had to go through.
Absolutely.
My wife's a nurse practitioner. She went to work. Them people, that's just it. That's them are the people.
Yeah.
And I don't know really how to say what I'm trying to get out. I'm terrible at this kind of stuff, but be respectful. Be respectful, and try to treat everybody. It's that lifelong thing. Treat everybody as you want to be treated. That's everybody I meet. I try to be nice. I want everybody. I don't know. I like to be the guy that people like to talk to. I like to be the guy that everybody says, "Hey, that's a good guy," and that's how I live my life. I want to be a good guy. I want everybody. That's just me. I think that's important in life.
You want to be remembered as that, no matter what you do. Absolutely.
That's right. Great. I won 2 bass tournaments. That's fantastic.
Right.
If I don't win another tournament, if I don't do anything else in the world of bass fishing, if everybody says, "Man, that was a good guy. He treated everybody well. He treated people with respect.
Yeah.
He was a good guy. He would help me no matter what. If I called him at 10 o'clock at night on the side of the road, he would get out his butt out of bed to go help me."
Yeah.
That's the person I want to be remembered for.
Yeah, he was a great guy. Whether I knew he was a fisherman or not, he always treated me well, period, across the board.
And that, besides that, my family, no matter what, be good to your family. Know that is the most important thing. Is your family is there no matter if you do good or they do bad, they're there for you, and you got to know that.
Yeah, I have a feeling you are an incredible role model for your family.
Well, I guess, and I don't like to call myself that. I'm not that person. I don't want to be. I want to live up to people like that. People I grew up watching and love and seeing what they did for their families, the sacrifices they made. I hope that when my kids grow up, they can say, "My dad did that for me," or my wife, that's what I want. I want to be what people would call a good role model. If I could ever live up to that, I did my job.
Well, I think they will, no matter if you've got 2 wins in the win column or never get another one again. I really, truly think
that's the most important thing to me.
I have really, really enjoyed our time. It has been a great podcast, I believe. Ricky,
dude, I appreciate it. Really do. I appreciate everything y'all did. Thank you for the time. Ricky, I appreciate you talking to me. I enjoyed it.
All right. Good luck at practice for you. I will see you in New York for the Bass Pro Tour. I'll be there.
Absolutely. Great. I
Jason,
look forward to meeting you in person. I enjoyed it.
What was that, Ricky? You're breaking up again.
Jason, thanks for joining us, man. Golly day. How about now? Am I breaking up now?
Yeah, a little bit. You lock up a little bit and you do that. Yeah. A little bit. That's all right. Yeah, you're full lock.
Hang on one second. Let me I usually don't have any issues with this thing, but Lurch, I think it was a great show, man. He is a class act.
Yeah, I agree. I truly look forward to meeting him in New York.
Hold on. Let me try one other thing here.
And I'll be watching to see if the confidence builds. When they go to Potomac.
Yeah, and I mean, it sounds like he's pretty confident in that body of water, right?
Yeah. He said they're going to bite on the current. It's
let's go ahead.
Or the out.
Let's go ahead and shut this thing down tonight. I appreciate you. Tell everybody where they can find you at.
I do Instagram a lot. You can check it out.
All right, Lurch. Thank you, buddy.
Lurch MC.
All right, we're gonna shut this thing on down, man.
All right, buddy. We'll see you soon.